Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the 506 Infantry Regiment ArmA 3 Milsim Unit Training. Now, we have completed Phase 1 of training. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that first video. It has not gone up as of the time that I'm recording this, so I haven't gotten to see your guys' reactions to it, but hopefully you enjoyed it, and may have been a bit long-winded, as I said, but it really detailed a lot and informed you on a lot going forward and leading into the rest of this training. So today, we are in AIT, that's Advanced Infantry Training, day 1 of 4. And in this episode, we get into some of the weapons trainings, throwing off grenades, blowing stuff up. It's actually a lot of fun. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. We're getting more into the hands-on stuff. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of it. And don't forget to head over to twitch.tv/wrathinspired where all of this is streamed, and you can see it firsthand there. Also, I have a Patreon. Go check it out. I'll see y'all in the next one. Have fun. Later, guys.
Whoo, here we go, boys. You guys ready? Day 1. PV1 Wrath. On the run. Headed to leave the classroom. Let's go. Cover and alignment. Alright, make sure we take off our cover.
Take out the cover, box on your left. Grab a
A
radio.
little bit of leg.
And then fill in the seats from the front back.
Just get on my person, please. Thank you. I don't remember how to sit. Fuck. I don't remember how to sit. Fuck.
To sit down in the seat, you used Ace Interact if you're not figuring it out.
I don't remember. It's been a while. You guys use this one. There we go. Sit down. There. Fuck me. That was scary. I had to remember the button. Almost fucked up there, boys. The button combinations are different. It's been a month since I've been back on here, so. Oh man, I panicked there a little bit. They sat in the wrong spot. They should have been over there. But, whatever.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to get this going.
Same spot as in
first
last
thing
time.
you're going to do is hold left control on your keyboard and press Papa, or P.
P.
So everybody do that. Everyone should see that big green and PRC 152 on their screen, correct? Everyone see that?
Correct, first one.
Affirmative, first sergeant.
Affirmative.
Excellent. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you guys through what everything on this radio does first before we actually talk about what we're going to say on it or anything like that. We're going to start from the top, work our way down. So starting at the very top, that middle stalk with the numbers on it, that's your volume control. You right click it, it increases volume, left click it, it decreases volume. Mine by default is always set at 70. I usually leave it there. Alright, it's loud enough to hear over a gunfight, but not so fucking loud that it's going to blow your eardrums out. Personal preference is personal fucking preference, so whatever you want to set it at, have at it. Moving down from there, we have that light green rectangle. Right now it'll say Charlie 1 in a random series of numbers. That is your display. That display is going to provide you with 2 key pieces of information. It will tell you the channel you are currently on, as well as the frequency that that channel is tuned to. Understand, a channel and a frequency are 2 different things. Moving down from the display, we then have the field of buttons. Alright, we're going to start at the top right corner, the CLR button. That clears a frequency. You click that, it removes that random series of numbers following Charlie 1.
Yes, for Sergeant, sir! Notice me first!
That is to set a frequency. So if you clear a frequency, you can then type
Notice me first,
in
Sergeant!
numbers after Charlie 1. You will then hit the ENT button and it'll set that frequency. Directly beneath that, we have the PRE plus and the PRE minus. That is how you will change channels. PRE plus goes up a channel, PRE minus goes down a channel. Pretty simple. Alternatively, to switch channels quickly, you can also use the number keys on your number pad on the keyboard. Switch 1 through 8 very quickly. Next to the PRE minus, you have that right-facing arrow.
This is not that type of game!
Click that fucking button. That right-facing arrow sets your short-range radio to speakers. Should you do that, anytime someone transmits on that frequency or that net, as you'll often hear it referred to, anytime someone transmits on that net, it will be broadcast to everyone around you. which more times than not
Need one of
causes
those
a fuck
armies.
ton of feedback. And those of us wearing
We're gonna have a
headsets
whole new
will
kind of
rip your
fan fiction.
goddamn head off. So
Fan
don't
art getting drawn.
Do it.
Raph
Next,
getting
we have the
spanked by
left-facing
first
arrow.
surgeon.
A left-facing arrow will set an additional channel. This allows you to not only monitor but also talk on a secondary channel. This is incredibly useful for those of us in
Private
leadership
Red,
positions.
why are you
Anyone
giggling
not in
to
a leadership
yourself?
position doesn't need it.
They can't hear
Never
me.
use it. Any of us in
Evans said
leadership
push to talk.
positions, we all
Can you
use
imagine if they could? I'm
multiple
just over here like-
channels at the same time. Lastly, in the
That'd be
bottom
bad.
left corner, the 0 key, that is your stereo settings key. That allows a channel to be heard through one ear only. Again, very handy for those of us that monitor multiple nets. The rest of the numbers, 1 through 9 in the field, don't do dick, so don't worry about them. Right, everybody tracking on what each button does on this radio.
Affirmative for sergeant.
Solid copy, first one.
Alright,
I heard myself
So-
echo. Someone fucked up.
let's go ahead and program a couple of frequencies in so you guys understand how to do this. But I want you guys first go up that CLR button and click that.
Clear.
That'll clear out, like I said, that random series of numbers following Charlie 1.
Chop.
In place of those numbers, I want you to type in 100.1.
100.1.
Again, that's 100.1.
Enter.
Get in the habit of calling your numerals individually. Helps a lot. So 100.
You got some donations set up?
Once it says Charlie
So
1
fucking
100.1, you're then going to click the ENT button and set that frequency.
Set.
Once you have that frequency set, you're then going to go down to the very bottom left, that 0 key. Click that once so that it pops up and says left ear only. Once you have clicked the stereo settings key once, you're then going to click PRE plus. Go to channel 2. Right now, everyone should be looking at Charlie 2 and a random series of numbers. Everybody seeing that?
Yes, first one.
Affirmative for sergeant.
I was first.
All right. So,
Cause I'm
now
a
when you hit that
bias.
CLR button, clear out the frequency. In its place, you're going to type in 100. And then set that frequency with the ENT button. So now it should say Charlie 2 100. Once it says Charlie 2 100, when you go down to that left facing arrow, the set additional channel key. Click that once. It'll change it from Charlie 2 to Alpha 2. Everybody now seeing Alpha 2 100.
Affirmative for sergeant.
Solid first one.
Alright, so now go to that stereo settings key in the bottom left corner. You're going to click that twice so it says additional right ear only. Once you have done that, you are going to go back to channel 1 by pressing PRE minus. This is absolutely vital. Anytime you set up an additional channel, you have to go back to your primary channel in order to be able to hear it. Always remember, your additional channel is heard in addition to your primary channel. Alright, so you have an Alpha 2, doesn't matter if it's Alpha 2 or Alpha fucking 7. It's heard in addition to your primary channel, so you always have to go back to your primary. Now everybody should be looking at Charlie 1 100.1, correct?
Correct, first one.
Affirmative.
Alright, so now all of you should hear me speaking to you in your left ear, correct?
Correct, first one. Dumbass radio back.
Correct for certain.
It worries me when only one fucking person says correct.
Negative for sergeant.
That's a negative for sir.
Everybody go ahead and hit PRE plus and go back to channel 2.
2 100. What did I do wrong? I didn't hear him.
Does everybody's channel 2 say Alpha 2 100?
Affirmative.
Correct for sir.
Yes, first one.
Go down to that stereo settings key in the bottom left and click that until you see the little box pop up with your
Additional right
radio that
only.
says additional right ear only.
Yeah. That's what it was. Why did I not hear him?
Is there anybody that does not see that box that pops up that says additional right ear only? All right.
Negative.
Now all of you should hear me speaking to you in your right ear, correct?
That's negative for sir.
Negative first one.
Correct for certain.
What is happening? 100.
All right, stand by.
I did that right? 100. I think I did everything right. At least I'm not the only one.
I actually set mine up properly. Now all of you should hear me speaking to you in your right ear, correct?
Yes, First Sergeant.
Correct, First Sergeant.
Outstanding.
He had his
That's what
best up.
happens when someone fucks up and doesn't realize it. All right.
Wait, so why did the other guy hear him?
Now moving on from here, how do we actually speak on the radio? This is going to be based upon default controls. Firstly, if you're capable of doing so, I recommend using a better key for your radio transmit. Right, but that's entirely up to you, whatever your fucking personal preference is. Okay. So by default, talk on your primary channel on the short range radio. Transmit key is going to be caps lock. Do not start hitting your fucking caps lock key now. I don't need to hear your shit squawking in my ear.
You know they're going to too.
Default,
Someone
caps
is going
lock is
to.
your transmit key for your primary channel. Right, so that's going to be
Really?
channel 100.1. Your transmit key for your additional channel by default is going to be Tango, or the T key. Right, so if you want to talk on channel 1, use caps lock. If you want to talk on your additional channel, use Tango. Now this is important. Anytime you are transitioning from one net to the other, meaning if you're transmitting using caps lock and then you need to talk on your channel using Tango, after you release your transmit key, after you release caps lock, give it a solid 2 seconds. Just count 1, 2, and then depress your transmit key for Tango. If you switch too quickly, you will not transmit on the correct frequency. I have to give TFAR time to disconnect one frequency or one channel and connect the other channel. All right, it's very, very simple process to understand, but guys fuck it up all the time. So make sure you're giving it a hot second or two before you transition. Next, when you are talking on the radio, anytime you are transmitting, when you go to send your traffic, press your transmit key, give it a solid second, and then start sending your message. When you have finished sending your message, give it another second, and then release your transmit key. Do not be one of those happy fucking half-tards that cuts off the start and or the end of his transmission because he's too stupid to hold his button down long enough. Again, very simple premise, still people fuck it up. Don't be one of those people. I'm moving on from there. When we speak on the radio, we are going to use different verbiage, shorthand, so on and so forth. Some of it you may have heard before, some of it you may not have. First thing I want to cover is going to be numerals, right? You may have heard the phrase phonetic numerals before. We use phonetic numerals. However, we are not going to use phonetic numerals 100% of the time. It is only in the situation where you think that you may be misunderstood or someone asks you to say again whatever numbers it was that you just said. So what are phonetic numerals? Phonetic numerals are very, very simple. They're the exact same as your normal numerals with the exception to 3 different numbers. Those numbers are the numbers 3, 5, and 9. Right? 3 pronounced phonetically is tree, like the thing with fucking leaves on it. 5 is fife, F-I-F-E. 9 is pronounced niner. Everybody fucking knows that one. All right, pretty simple. Those are really the only 3 big differences from everyday 0 through 9.
I got tree cookies! I got tree cookies in my pocket!
In a situation where you think you may be misunderstood or someone asks you to say again whatever those numerals were, we're not going to say 3, 5, 9 or every single time you say the numbers 3, 5, or 9. Next, we have the phonetic alphabet. All right, we use the NATO phonetic alphabet. Very simple: Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Foxtrot, so on and so forth. Not going through all 26 fucking letters. Very, very simple.
He cusses a lot, I like
Remember, we use the NATO phonetic alphabet. We don't use any form of fucking civilian boy, Charlie, George bullshit.
You said Charlie.
NATO's
Charlie is
phonetic
correct.
alphabet. Very, very simple. Moving on from there.
Don't correct the first
We
one.
then have pro words and phrases, or procedure words and phrases. Pro words and phrases are a way for us to practice brevity. Brevity basically is to say as much information as possible in as little time as possible. Basically, get the fuck off the radio as quickly as you can because there's other people that may need to speak on there. Now, all of the pro words that you're going to hear potentially throughout your time with us are in your student reference document. If you haven't already looked at that thing, you're fucking doing it wrong. You should already be studying it. But we're going to go over a couple of key ones that you're going to hear quite a lot that we're going to go into a little bit more detail on. So the first one we're going to cover is break. All right, break means hereby indicates separation of this text from the rest of my message. Basically, break is a period in a sentence. That simple. All right, so if you have a long message to send, partway through, say break, release your fucking transmit key, take a breath, rekey your radio, and then continue your traffic. Do not be one of the idiots that says break mid-sentence and just continues fucking talking. Defeats the purpose of saying break. Next, we have break in a succession of 3. So break, break, break. Break, break, break is a way to break communications on the current net. Or basically, if someone is talking, they're sending whatever traffic.
Ouch.
And you have to talk. You need to fucking speak on that radio frequency. Then you'll key up your radio, say break, 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 followed by what type of traffic you have. Which if you're breaking someone, that means you have higher priority traffic. Right? There's basically 3 tiers of traffic. You have normal traffic, priority traffic, and emergency traffic. I'll give you an example of each one just so you understand kind of where you're at should you have to break someone. So if there's a bit long-winded motherfucker on the radio and you need him to shut the fuck up so you can send traffic because, say, you have a fire team size element 100 meters off your nose, then you're going to key up the radio, say break, 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 priority traffic, fire team size element of foot moles, 100 meters, direct front, my pause, whatever, something along those lines. Right? That's an example of priority traffic. You have danger close element to you. Next, you have emergency traffic. Emergency traffic trumps all. So even if someone was sending priority traffic of, hey, I've got foot mobiles 100 meters off my front, if they have a BMP2 100 meters off their nose, their fucking risk trumps yours. So their traffic is going to be higher. So they're going to break you and say break, 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 emergency traffic. No matter what the tier of traffic is, the only time someone's going to break traffic is if they have higher priority or higher tier traffic. So the second you hear break, break, break on a net, if you're the one currently speaking, you immediately shut the fuck up. Because they are not going to break you unless they have higher priority traffic. All right, everybody understand how that system works?
So I copy first order.
Affirmative for
Yes,
sergeant.
Sergeant.
All right, next one we're going to go over is correction. Correction simply means an error has been made. Transmission will continue with the last word correctly sent. What that means in layman's terms is, I fucked up. Ignore what I just said. I'm going to go back to where I was correct and continue my transmission. Mm-hmm. All right, so if you're sending traffic and you will say, for example, fuck up a grid coordinate. You're slightly dyslexic and you fucking roll the numbers out backwards. It's fine. Just don't fumble fuck over the radio and say, no, I mean, just fucking say correction, take a breath, get your fucking zen on, go back to where you were last correct, and send the rest of your transmission. Next, disregard. Pretty simple.
Disregard
Exactly
the last.
what the word means. You disregard it. You act as if you never heard it. One that you're going to hear a decent amount. Moving on. Next one we're going to cover is over. Over means this is the end of my transmission to you and a response is not necessary or expect or disregard. Helps if I don't fumble fucking myself. Over means this is the end of my transmission to you and a response is necessary. Go ahead and transmit. Okay, so basically if someone says over at the end of their transmission, they expect you to respond. We'll talk about some of the responses that you can give here in a minute, but if they say over at the end of their transmission, you better fucking respond to whatever they just said to you. Next, we have out. Out is kind of the polar opposite, right? Out means this is the end of my transmission to you, and a response is not necessary or expected, right? Out essentially means I'm done fucking talking to you. Do not respond to me. They are very clear in what both of those words mean. Over means I need a response. Out means I do not. So for that reason, do not ever say over and out on the fucking radio. It is made up Hollywood bullshit. No one says that. It's fucking retarded. They mean two completely different things. Over means I need a response. Out means I do not. So, who decides who says over and who says out? Very simple. The initiating station, right? That's the person that initiates the radio call. Okay, so if I call you, I'm the initiating station. If you call me, you're the initiating station. The initiating station decides when that conversation is done, so they will out that conversation.
Makes sense.
You, as the receiving station, will continue to say over at the end of your transmission until the initiating station outs the transmission. All right, is everybody tracking on how that works?
Affirmative.
Yes, First Sergeant.
So, First Sergeant.
First Sergeant.
All right. Now, the only exception to that being is if you're on the radio with higher, or basically whatever your commanding element is. If you're a team leader, if you're talking to your squad leader, if you initiate with your squad leader, he's your higher element, he will still potentially out you. If he has higher priority traffic come up on a different net, and he doesn't need you fucking running your cock holster in his ear, then he'll out you, and he'll get back to you when he has a chance, if he has a chance. But that's the only situation where the receiving station is going to out the transmission,
His
is
cock
if they're
holster.
the higher element. Now, moving on from there, we then have read back. Read back's very simple. You're just reading back whatever it is. Okay, now this can be used as an order as well as a response to an order. So if I am giving you a grid coordinate to move to, and I tell you to move to 160, 168, read back, then you're going to read back, move to grade 160, 168. As I said, it can also be used as a response to an order. So if you're told to read back, then you would respond with, I read back, move to grid 160, 168. It can also be used in conjunction with all before or all after. All right, so if I'm sending you traffic, and especially the tail end of the traffic is vital, I need to ensure 100% that you have understood what I have sent to you. Then I will send you the traffic, and then I will say to you, read back all after whatever word it was last that's not as important, and you will read back the tail end of the transmission. Or if I say all before, then you'll read back the front of the transmission. If I say read back all, then you'll read back word for word what I just said to you. All right, everybody tracking on how that works?
Solid, First
Affirmative,
Sergeant.
First Sergeant.
Solid, First Sergeant.
All right. Next, we have Roger. Roger simply means I have heard you satisfactorily. That's it. It just means I heard you. Very, very simple. Roger is not a response to a order given. It is not a response to a yes or no question. It simply means I heard you. If you are responding to an order given, you are then going to use the pro word of wilco. Stands for will comply. Makes a whole lot more sense when you respond to an order given with will comply, as in I will comply with that order, rather than just saying Roger. That doesn't tell your higher shit. All it tells them is that you heard the order. It doesn't tell them that you're going to carry out the order. All right, so make sure if you're receiving an order, you respond with Wilco. If you're just receiving information, then you can respond with Roger. If you're receiving a request for a yes or no answer, again, Roger is not an acceptable answer. Saying, yeah, I heard your question, doesn't fucking answer the question. Simply respond in the affirm or negative or yes, no, whichever you fucking prefer. It's not that big of a deal. But again, I heard you is not a response to a yes or no question. Moving on from there, we have say again. Say again is exactly as it sounds. You say it again. Much like read back, it can be used in conjunction with say again all before, say again all after, say again all, or simply just say again. And again, it can be used as a response to an order given to say again. So if I tell you say again all after, then you would respond with I say again whatever the fucking traffic was. Now you may wonder, why would we say again rather than just saying repeat? Quicker to say repeat. Repeat is a pro word used for artillery. Or other indirect fire.
I knew that one.
We do have indirect fire sections with us. We have mortar elements that go out in the field with us. If they hear the word repeat, to them that is to repeat the last fire mission that they just did. Now our guys are very well trained. I do not for a second think that they would repeat a fire mission because PB2 fuckface ran by him and said repeat on his radio. But still not going to take that chance. So we do not use that word ever. So much so that there are guys that will not even use it in everyday life because it has been beat into their fucking brain so much not to say it.
True.
And I will tell you this now. At any point in time you say repeat within earshot of me in this class, you will immediately have mortars dropped on your head. Is everybody clear on that?
Roger that, First Sergeant.
Affirmative.
Affirmative, First Sergeant.
Outstanding. Next one. This means this transmission is from the designation that immediately follows. What does that all mean? Basically, who's calling you, right? They're kind of like a fucking caller ID. There's a phrase I want you guys to memorize. The phrase is, hey you, this is me. Hey you, this is me. That's how you're going to start every formal radio transmission.
Welcome to Wrath
What I mean
Inspired.
by formal, as in not on your team net. Right, fire team nets, where pretty much all of you guys will be at the start, depending upon where you go, are much less formal. We're not going to use super strict radio communication protocols and so on fire team nets. It's only from squad nets and up that you're going to get really formal, but you still need to know how to fucking do it, because you could find yourself your first day in talking on fucking platoon net if things are going really bad. So, hey you, this is me. What does that mean? Right? Hey you is me calling someone's calling station. Every single individual person from a fire team leader and above has their own individual calling station. Now at a fire team level, you guys just use your names. Fire team leaders are going to be referred to by their team name. So if it's the Alpha fire team leader, they're going to only referred to on the radio by Alpha. Bravo, they're only referred to by Bravo. Weapons guys, you got Charlie and Delta. That's the only way they are referred to on the radio. They don't have a fucking name anymore. They have a designation. So they're only called by that. Squad leaders are only referred to as actual or as their squad name. Right? So, Sergeant Salvatore, your designation is what?
Havoc 2-2, Sergeant.
Havoc 2-2. Sergeant Caldwell, your designation is
I
what?
didn't understand him.
Havoc 2-7 for Sergeant.
Havoc 2-7. Alright? They are the only Havoc 2-2 and Havoc 2-7 in the entire fucking unit. So if they call me on the radio, they're the only ones that could be talking to me. Because that is their specific designation. Now if I call them, if I was calling Sergeant Caldwell, for example, I would say Havoc 2-7. That immediately lets him know, as he's monitoring the radio in his ear, someone is calling me. I just heard my name called on the radio. Someone's about to be asking me something. Or telling me something.
Makes sense.
Walker, question, go ahead.
First, Sergeant, this may get answered, but I was just curious, in the event that like a 2IC needs to step up, do they just phrase it like 2-2, 2IC in that event?
Yep. Exactly.
Affirm.
Now,
I didn't understand the reference.
to add to the rest of that phrase, hey you, this is me. My designation is Havoc 7. We only Havoc 7 in the unit. So if, again, I'm calling Sergeant Caldwell, if I say Havoc 2-7, this is Havoc 7. He now knows That's the first sergeant calling me on the radio. Right? Now, we work on a call and response system, especially on higher nets. Why do we work on a call and response system? If I just start sending my traffic immediately, for all I know, he's in the most hellacious firefight he's ever seen, or he's knocked out, dick in the dirt, and can't fucking receive my information or talk to me anyways. So when I call someone on the radio, I'm going to say, Havoc 2-7, this is Havoc 7, over. Say over at the end of my transmission because I need a fucking response. Alright, so again, Havoc 2-7, this is Havoc 7, over. He's going to respond. Havoc 7, this is Havoc 2-7, send traffic over. And then I'm going to carry on with the rest of my message. Now, we're not going to say each other's names to each other every time we key up the fucking radio. That's only when you initiate the call, so that you're ensuring both of you are talking to the correct fucking person. We're not going to keep going back and forth saying each other's names. We already know who the fuck we're talking to, because we're the only two people that are going to be talking on that radio until I out the transmission. Everybody else is going to shut the fuck up. Alright, so everybody understanding, hey you, this is me.
Understood, First Sergeant.
Understood, First Sergeant.
First sergeant.
First Sergeant.
Alright. Now the next thing to go over. Radio checks. Radio checks are absolutely fucking vital. Radios are the most powerful fucking tool that we have.
Gumby's here? Hi, Gumby.
Doesn't matter how big our guns are. We can't communicate, they can't do shit. So, every single person does a radio check. Once they get in the server, grab their gear, you're immediately going to do a radio check. No one steps outside the wire until they have good, clear communication with the entirety of their element. So, how do we do a radio check? Very simple. You'll use, hey you, this is me. Even on a fire team net, doing a radio check, you're going to use, hey you, this is me. But if you're doing a radio check, you have no idea who's up on net, right? This is the first time you've programmed your radio. You don't know who the fuck to call. So that's where you're going to hear the phrase, any station this net. That means you're calling any calling station on that frequency. So you're going to say, any station this net, this is. And then whatever your calling station is. Again, at a fire team level, you're just going to use your name. Okay, so any station this net, this is so-and-so, followed by radio check, and then the frequency you're doing the radio check on. Right, so any station this net, this is so-and-so, radio check, frequency, 100.2, over. Why do we say over at the end? Because you need a fucking response. What does radio check mean? Radio check is asking for the strength and readability of your transmission. So when you say over at the end, that's telling anyone on that net that they can respond to you with the strength and readability of your traffic. So for that reason, you don't need to say how copy at the end of your radio check. It's fucking redundant. No point in it. You're already asking for how they copy you by saying radio check. So again, to go over it, any station this net, this is so-and-so, radio check, frequency 100.1, over. Then someone is going to respond to you. So-and-so, this is so-and-so, read you either Lima Charlie, meaning loud and clear, or they could use the numerical system, 1x5 to 5x5, 1x5 meaning broken and unreadable, 5x5 meaning loud and clear. So let's say so-and-so, this so-and-so, read you Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, over. So they say back to you what the frequency is you're doing the radio check on, so you know damn well that you're doing it on the right net. Then they say over. Why do they say over? They're not the initiating station. You called them. So then you have to finish the transmission. Well, they didn't pass you an order. They didn't ask you a question. So you simply respond with Roger, out. That's simple.
Makes sense.
Everybody
Everybody tracking?
understanding how a radio check works.
Negative for sergeant.
Negative.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Outstanding, because you're about to do them. So, what we're going to do, we're going to start at the extreme right up front here with Wrath. You're going to do your radio check. So, again, any station this net, this Wrath radio check, frequency 100.1, over. You say over, Reyes is going to respond to you. So he's going to respond.
Any station
Wrath,
in the net, this is
Reyes,
Private
Roger 1,
Wrath.
Charlie, frequency 100.1, over. Which you're going to close out the conversation by saying Roger out, and then we're going to move on down the line. So Reyes is going to do his check, Walker's going to respond to him, Walker's going to do his check, Lewis is going to respond. Whoever the fuck's in the back corner there, you're going to respond to Lewis, so on and so forth until we get to Swenson. Swenson's going to do his radio check, and then Wrath is going to respond. All right, anybody unclear as to how we're about to do this?
Negative for Sergeant.
Negative for certain.
Outstanding. Wrath, on you.
Solid for certain. Any station this net, this is Private Wrath. Radio check. Over.
You're not talking on the radio. Make sure you are using caps lock to speak on your radio, and make sure you are saying what frequency you're doing the radio check on.
Side copy first one. Let me double check my radio. 1001.
No, disregard, it's mine. Alright, let's try that again, but make sure you're saying which radio you're doing, or what
Frequency
you're doing the
1001.
radio check on. Don't forget that part.
Understood
Try
first
again.
one. Any station this net, this is Private Wrath. Radio check frequency 100.1. Over.
Reyes, go ahead and respond.
Didn't hear you for Sergeant.
Go ahead and respond to him.
Did I do it right?
Anytime this week, Princess.
Sergeant, I'm pressing the caps lock button, but it wasn't working.
Walker, your hot mic and fix your shit before I fucking plant a size 12 Red Wing in your ass. Say that again. Reyes.
Sergeant,
I was so nervous.
but it doesn't working.
This radio's rusted. I knew one of them. I knew one of them wasn't
I want
working.
you to press escape. Your menu pop up.
Yeah.
Go down to the left side where
Yeah.
it says configure.
Yes, First
Then
Sergeant.
go to add-on options.
I need someone to do the
Once you're in
correct
add-on
respawn
options,
so I
you're gonna
remember how to
hit
do
that
it.
drop-down menu.
So any station this net, this
All
is
the way
Private
down to the
Wrath
bottom
on
where it
frequency
says
10.
or actually disregard.
No.
If I go to the right fucking section.
Any station this net, this is Private Wrath. Radio check frequency 100.1. Over.
Game below video.
Boom! There we go. Huh.
that button.
Fucked up the first one. Fucked up the first one. I'm sorry. Sorry. Whew.
Not a Holmesian level fucking mystery here. If you're seeing the button, say yes. If you're not, say no.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Alright, hit the controls.
I like this guy.
Down at the bottom, you're going to see where it says configure add-ons.
As long as you're not an idiot,
That's
he's
fine.
okay with you.
Then you're going to hit the drop down, go all the way to the bottom where it says TFAR.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Alright, once you're on there, you're going to scroll down that list until you see SW transmit. Be 3/4 of the way down the list. Right underneath LR stereo right.
Yes, for Sergeant.
What button does it say on the right hand side of that?
Caps lock for Sergeant.
Alright, then it should be working perfectly fine.
It's his radio's not set up correctly.
Getting there again for Sergeant.
I know it. I know his radio wasn't set up correctly because when we tested it the first time, he couldn't hear, or he radioed, and only he could hear him. So
Sergeant,
his
it's
radio was
telling
messed up.
me incorrect frequency.
You guys know what I'm talking about? At the beginning, the first sergeant did a radio check, and he was the only one who could
That is
hear him.
not
Was raised.
something that I have ever heard of the radio saying to anyone. Alright, hold control and press P as in Papa and pull up your radio. Are you looking at your radio?
I knew one of them was messed up.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Alright. Does the display on your radio say Charlie 1 100.1?
Negative. He's fixing it right now.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Now it does.
Alright. Go ahead and hit caps lock.
How much you want to bet?
Try and transmit. There you go. Now you're on your radio.
Yes, for Sergeant.
Alright, let's go ahead and start this from the top. So, Wrath, go ahead and send your fucking radio check again, and Reyes will respond.
We'll go first one. Any station this net, this is Private Wrath. Radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Wrath, this is Reyes. Frequency 100.1, over.
What about frequency 100.1? Did you read him Lima Charlie or 5x5, or are you telling him to go fuck himself, or asking his mother on a date?
Yes!
What are you doing on 100.1?
She's the lonely one.
Sorry, Sergeant.
Why'd you
Now,
radio?
you tell me sorry on the radio. Let's try that again. Wrath, go ahead and take it from the top.
Welcome, first one. Any station this net, this is Private Wrath. Frequency, radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Wrath, this
think I
is
did that.
Reyes.
Fuck.
Frequency
What did I
100.1, Lima Charlie, over.
Roger, out.
There we go. Now we're getting it. All right, Reyes. Do your radio check. We'll respond.
Any station in this channel, this is Reyes. Frequency 100.1, over.
What are you doing on 100.1?
Radio check.
Fuck, you're not making it.
Okay.
Let him try again, Sergeant.
Any station,
Go ahead.
Wrath. Radio check.
Sergeant, I forgot.
Any station this net. This
Radio check.
is Reyes. Radio check.
Frequency.
100.1, over.
Over. Yep.
Any station on this net, this is Reyes. Frequency 100.1. Radio check, over.
Wrath.
Guys, I read you 5x5 at 100.1, over.
Close it out. Remember, you heard him clearly, right? So just Roger out.
Lima Charlie.
Roger, out.
There you go.
Frequency.
Walker.
Any station in this net, this is Private Walker. Radio check 100.1, how copy? Sorry for the how copy.
Lima Charlie Walker, this is Lewis. Read you 5x5, frequency 100.1.
I got it. I got it.
Okay, let's
Roger,
take
out.
that back from the top, because I've seen geriatric porns that were less fucking slow and sloppy. Try that again.
I like this guy.
Any station in this net, this is Private Walker.
It's a
Radio
funny
check
fuck, isn't it?
100.1, over.
Lima Charlie Walker, I read you 5x5 on frequency 1001, over.
Roger, out.
Alright, you only need one of the two. You don't need both Lima Charlie and 5x5. Redundant. Redundancy on the radio is fucking useless. Alright, let's go ahead and keep it going.
Any station this net, this is Private Lewis. Radio check, frequency 1001, over.
Go in the back there. Grant.
Roger. This is Grant to Lewis. I need to. This is frequency 100.1. I need to 5x5.
Over. Over. Over!
Roger, out.
He didn't say over! Is he gonna yell in?
Alright, we're gonna do that
Yep.
again without all of the uhs and the fumble fucking of the correct words in the correct place within the sentence.
He also didn't say over.
So again, it is Lewis, this is Grant, read you Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, over. That's simple.
Swenson.
Lewis, go ahead and take it again.
Swenson, this is Wrath. You're
Any
Lima
station
Charlie
this
on
net, this is Private Lewis. Radio check,
100.1.
frequency 1001, over.
This is Grant to Lewis. I need to 5x5 on frequency 100.1. Over.
Roger, out.
Alright, getting better. Alright, Grant, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. Oh wait.
Any station this net, radio check for frequency 100.1.
He
Over.
didn't say who he was. He didn't say who he was. He didn't say who he was.
Who's doing the radio check? The Santa Claus, Jesus H. Christ himself, the Dalai fucking Llama? Who's doing the radio check? Let's try that again from the top.
This guy just comebacks, man. It's on fire.
Any station this net, radio check frequency 100.1.
say who it
This
was
is Grant. Over.
Grant, this is Swenson. Read your Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, over.
Roger, out.
Roger Rabbit.
Alright, good enough. Swenson, go ahead.
Good enough.
Any station in this net, this is Swenson, radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Swenson, this is Wrath. You are Lima Charlie on frequency 1001. Over.
Roger, out.
Alright.
Cause I'm a beast.
About as smooth as a cactus, but we'll let it fucking slide for now. So, this is something you guys are gonna get a lot more practice on. Obviously, I don't expect you guys to be fucking total rock stars on day one, but you're gonna get a lot more fucking practice on it. As I said, every single time you load into a server and grab your gear, you're gonna be doing a fucking radio check to the point where eventually you'll be able to rattle it off very, very fucking quickly. To give you guys a quick example here, Sergeant Caldwell, you up on point 1?
A firm for certain.
Alright, so myself and Sergeant Caldwell are going to very quickly demonstrate for you guys how quickly you can rip off a radio check using our normal calling stations. Alright. Any station this net is Havoc 7, radio check, frequency 100.1, over.
Havoc 7, this is 27, Regent Lima Charlie, frequency 100.1, over.
Roger, out. Alright, 10 seconds, you got a radio check done. You can get very quick at doing it, especially for those of us that do multiple, that handle multiple channels at the same time, because we have to do radio checks on every single channel that we do. Especially for myself in a position of being a task force commander, there are nights where I am on 3 channels at the same time. You gotta be quick about it. You'll also eventually, should you find yourself in a leadership position, learn how to basically shut off one of your ears so that you can hear traffic only in one ear, despite someone talking, say, traffic you need to hear is in your left ear and someone's talking in your right ear, which is going to happen a lot. You'll learn how to only focus on what's being broadcast into your left ear. As I said, there's nights where I'm on 3 channels and people are talking on all 3 at the same fucking time. You have to be able to pick out the key information from those channels. You learn. You are not going to innately have it. It is something that you learn with time. Now, is there anybody that is unclear as to anything that we have gone over thus far?
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Outstanding. So, what we are going to do now, and actually, while I remember here, there's one pro word that I skipped over, and that is the pro word of interrogative. Any of you guys ever heard that word before, interrogative?
Yes, for sure.
Affirmative.
You guys probably, heard guys say it or seen it in videos or shit like that. All right. Interrogative is notifying someone that you have a request of information. Basically, I have a question. If so done properly, I'm going to radio someone. If I was calling Sergeant Caldwell and I had a question for him, I had a request of information from him, then I would radio him and say, Havoc 27, this is Havoc 7, interrogative, over. And then he's going to respond back, Havoc 7, this is Havoc 27, send traffic over. Now I'm going to say, 27, sit rep on platoon or something along those lines, whatever. And then he's going to respond back to me with the information or tell me to stand by, whatever. But basically, if you hear interrogative, that's telling someone, hey, I'm going to need information from you, stand by to fucking have it. All right, everybody clear on that?
Affirmative, First Sergeant.
I'll give it First Sergeant.
Affirmative, First Sergeant.
All right. So, now we are going to move on to some of our weapons familiarization. All right, we're going to take you guys through weapons that we carry as infantry, take you through some of their capabilities and so on before we actually head downrange, let you guys fucking play with them a little bit. So I want you guys to direct your attention up to the fucking screens behind me here so you can actually see what we're talking about.
Ooh, I like the
The
M4.
first weapon system we're going to cover is the M4 carbine.
Oh, look.
M4 carbine is standard issue for the Army. Everyone here carries one with exception of automatic riflemen, machine gunners, and some pilots. But basically, everyone carries an M4. Alright, so the M4 is a lightweight, gas-operated, air-cooled, magazine-fed, shoulder-fire weapon capable of semi-automatic and fully automatic fire. Has a 30-round magazine.
You had to memorize those in boot camp.
5.56 millimeter NATO round. The point target range of 500 meters. Area target range of 600 meters.
Memorize all of
Anybody
this
have a
from
guess as to
multiple
the
weapons.
difference between a point target range and an area target range?
Negative, First Sergeant.
Nobody's got a guess. Nobody's feeling brave today.
Affirmative,
one.
First Sergeant.
Send it, Walker.
One's completely accurate. One's just a general area for suppression purposes.
Pretty much.
To an
Point
extent,
target means you're accurately engaging an individual target. Area target means you're engaging the area of that target, i.e. suppressing them. Now that doesn't mean that the M4 is not lethal beyond even 600 meters. 5.56 is lethal well fucking beyond 600 meters, but you're not going to be as accurate. Right, so 500 meters and closer, that's basically your kill range. We always want to close the distance. We want to get inside that 500 meters so every single weapon system we have is going to be able to engage that threat. Right? Moving on from the M4. Then have the M320. The M320 is a lightweight 40mm underslung grenade launcher, or UGL. Now, we also use the 203, which is basically the older brother to the 320. In game, there is no difference between the two of them, with exception of the sighting aperture. 320 has an accurate range of 350 meters. 203 has an accurate range of 250 meters. So you're
I used the 203 launcher.
Jump back 100 meters using the 203 as opposed to the 320. That is the only difference between them. They use all the exact same ammunition. No real weight difference or anything like that. So, again, they're the exact same, just sighting aperture is different. Each of them are capable of firing multiple different munitions. Firstly, HE, or high explosive, used for enemy infantry in the open. Next we have HEDP, or high explosive dual purpose. For us in game, it's only going to be used against wheeled vehicles because we're able to disable the vehicle by taking out the tires. HEDP is the only thing capable of doing that. So it's not like real life, but HEDP only going to be used against wheeled vehicles. Next we have 40mm smoke. 40mm smoke, however, unfortunately within ArmA, can be a bit of a pain in the dick. Alright, you can fire it out there 200 meters, and it'll bounce another 200 goddamn meters beyond that. So it takes a lot of practice to get good with 40 Mike smoke. Next, we have Hunt IR rounds. Hunt IR rounds are something only carried by platoon HQ elements and above, but we're still going to go over what they are. So a Hunt IR grenade looks like a normal 40 Mike, but instead of an explosive warhead on the tip, it's got a camera. When it reaches the apex of its ascent, parachute deploys out of the back. You can then use a special device that we carry to connect to the camera, look through it. We use it as a way to look over defilade, walled compounds, and so on and so forth. As I said, only platoon HQ elements and above carry them, but you still need to know what the fuck it is, because if you're sitting there one night, covering a sector, and you hear a thumper go off, thumper is a nickname for a grenade launcher, because it goes thump when it fires. You hear a thumper go off, and then all of a sudden you see a white parachute coming down. Don't freak out, alright? It's not the aliens coming to invade, it's not enemy fucking paratroopers, it's a camera. Don't fucking shoot at it. Lastly, thumpers are capable of firing illumination rounds. Now you may wonder why the fuck we would carry illumination considering we all have standard issue nods. Very simple. Don't know the way that night vision works. Night vision, it works upon ambient light, meaning whatever light is around you. It doesn't produce its own light. That means moonlight, street lights, so on and so forth. Well, if the weather's really bad and it's super cloudy, you don't get any moonlight. So its capability is going to be reduced. On top of that, if the weather's really bad and it's foggy, light from street lamps and so on is not going to pass into your NVGs. In that situation, illumination is our best fucking friend. It's not something we're going to carry all the time, only when the situation calls for it. Walker, question.
To kind of backtrack a little bit and break immersion slightly, does the AI opposition engage the cameras that the thumpers can launch?
They can, yes.
Different.
Alright. Now, in terms of the grenade launchers, the 320s and the 203s, only personnel that carry them are grenadiers, as well as some squad leaders and above. Not all squad leaders carry a thumper. There's a limited amount of grenade launchers per platoon, in addition to the grenadiers. Right? Any questions on the 320 or the 203?
Negative for Sergeant.
Negative for Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Excellent. Moving on from there, we have the M249 Squad Automatic Weapon, or SAW, as you'll generally hear it referred to. SAW is a gas-operated, air-cooled belt
I fired
or
those off too.
magazine-fed automatic weapon that fires from the open bolt position. Maximum rate of fire of 850 rounds a minute. Maximum area target range of 1,200 meters. Chambered in the same 5.56 millimeter NATO round as the M4, which is why it is belt or magazine fed. Yes, you can put a standard issue STANAG into a SAW. However, SAW does not have select fire capability like the M4. So that means that 30 rounds in that STANAG magazine is not going to last you very fucking long. And we'll go over that more later on when we go over rates of fire and so on.
I haven't eaten today.
Generally, SAWs are going to be carrying either a 200 round belt or a 100 round belt, depending upon what that gunner feels like carrying. As I said, has a maximum area target range of 1,200 meters. Notice I didn't give you a point target range, because this is a suppression weapon. Well, it doesn't mean you can't engage an individual target. You absolutely can. But when we fire the SAW, we're firing in bursts, minimum 3 to 5 rounds. You're never going to single fire or tap fire a fucking machine gun. So you're automatically engaging the area of the target because you're firing a burst at minimum. Now, all automatic riflemen carry a SAW. 2 automatic riflemen per rifle squad. Every single one of them carries a SAW. Do not confuse a SAW gunner with an 11 Bravo machine gunner.
That's my favorite.
Different jobs.
Fucking love the 11 Bravo.
SAW gunner is just an 11 Bravo who happens to have the luck of carrying a fucking machine gun.
240 Bravo. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Misfortune, depending upon how you want to look at it.
M240 Bravo.
All right, any questions on the SAW?
Negative for
Negative first sergeant.
Negative for Sergeant.
The M240 Bravo
Right.
is fucking glorious.
Moving on.
Yeah!
We have the M240 Bravo.
That's what I'm talking
Machine
about.
gun. 240 is a
Gun right
belt-fed,
there.
air-cooled, gas-operated, fully automatic machine gun. Fires from the open bolt position, chambered in the NATO 7.62 millimeter NATO round, with a maximum area target range of 1,800 meters. This is essentially the bigger, badder, meaner brother to the SAW. Notice the area target range that I
Fucking
gave you.
savage.
1,800 meters. Almost 2 clicks.
Yeah.
This thing will reach the fuck out there and
It'll
touch someone.
fuck shit
That's
up.
why we affectionately refer to it as the big black dick of freedom. 240
Reach out
are
and
carried by
touch me.
11 Bravo machine gunners. Now this is technically a crew-served weapon, meaning it takes more than one personnel
Technically.
to properly operate this weapon system. Now unfortunately, we don't have the full tripod system that you would use in real life. We have kind of a shit setup in terms of a tripod, but it works. So, although it varies slightly from how a crew is ran in real life, we still run a 2-man crew per 240. So you have your gunner and your assistant gunner, or
Assistant
a
gunner,
gunner,
like,
as
lays
you'll
on
generally
top of
hear
you
him referred
while
to,
you fire
or
it.
sometimes you'll hear him called a donkey. It's our
weird at
affectionate
first.
term for him. Now, the A gunner doesn't only carry ammunition, despite that being why they're called a donkey. A gunner carries extra ammo, helps spot, identify, range targets, also helps control the rate of fire of the machine gunner. Sometimes the guy on the trigger can get a little fucking excited and dump a whole goddamn belt on one dude because he's not paying the fuck attention. That's where the A gunner steps in and says, hey, calm your tits. Now the 240 gunners are located within the weapons squads. So the only place you're going to see 240s coming from is going to be the weapons squad in each rifle platoon, with one weapon squad in each rifle platoon. Alright, any questions on the 240?
Negative.
Negative first sergeant.
Negative for Sergeant.
Alright. Moving on. The M9 Beretta. Yes, this is no longer technically standard issue for the Army. Units are just now starting to receive the new one. The 101st just started fielding the new pistol 27th of November, I think it was. We'll hopefully be seeing ours soon, but as of right now, we don't have
27th
the
of
SIG
November?
in ArmA yet, so we're still using the Beretta. Beretta is a magazine-fed 9mm pistol, maximum effective range of 50 meters. Personally, I think you're better off throwing it at the motherfucker, but that's my personal opinion. The only guys that carry a Beretta are going to be SAW gunners, machine gunners, squad leaders, and above. Now, before you get some ridiculous notion in your head, or some happy fucking half-tard has told you that the M9 is used by machine gunners and saw gunners to clear rooms, no. It is some of the most retarded shit I have ever heard. Firstly, 240 gunners don't clear buildings. It's not what they're there for. Right, they're there to suppress a target at, 600 to 1,000 meters. They're not there to fucking CQC and clear buildings. Saw gunners have the greatest room clearing device ever invented by man, a fully automatic, belt-fed, light fucking machine gun. You would have to be crayon-eating, window-licking fucking retarded to choose a magazine-fed pistol with 15 rounds over a 200-round belt-fed machine gun.
Except the M249.
They do not use their pistol to clear rooms.
Jams a lot.
Pistol is used...
It's its main problem.
...for the situation of a threat presenting itself when you are reloading. Both the 240 and the 249 are belt-fed weapons. Takes a while to get a new belt fed into that weapon. So, if you're sitting there putting a new belt in the weapon system, and some asshole pops around the corner, generally going to be a lot quicker to draw your sidearm and dumping than it is to continue putting the new belt in your rifle. Alright? Everybody clear on that?
Roger, First Sergeant.
Affirmative, First Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Alright, moving on. Now going to move on to some of our shoulder fire munitions. Unfortunately, we don't have slides for all of them up here today, but we'll go over them, and then we'll go over the AT4 a little bit more later. First one we are going to cover is exactly that, the M136 AT4, which is a lightweight, self-contained SLM designed for use against improved and light armor. The AT4, we also carry the M72 Law, which is basically the older brother to the AT4. Both weapon systems, though, work pretty much the same. We'll go over which of those systems engage what more so on day 3. But basically, half of the riflemen within the rifle squads carry an AT4, the other half carry a Law. But they both work pretty much the exact same way. They both have an effective range of 350 meters. They're both disposable, meaning once you fire it, throw the fucking tube on the ground. You cannot use it again. You cannot reload that weapon. So as soon as you fire that thing, chuck it on the ground, you're done with it. Now, as I said, AT4, half the riflemen carry an AT4, half the riflemen carry a Law. Both have 350 meter effective range. And we'll go over what they actually engage.
It's so nice not having a mic right here.
More so on day 3. All right, any questions on the Law or the AT4?
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Blah, 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 blah.
Private Walker's got one.
Send it.
Was there any particular reason why the squad is split between 84s and Laws and not just 4 AT4s?
As in everybody in a fire team carrying an AT4?
No, between a rifleman and a squad.
Each rifleman in a squad carrying an AT4, that would be 6 AT4s in an entire platoon.
Yeah, I was just wondering if there was a particular reason why not just AT4s, and like why use the older Law, if there was any reason.
For us, it's basically gameplay purposes, purely to somewhat limit our AT, so we're not able to take on an entire fucking battalion of tanks.
Oh, roger that.
Any other questions?
Negative.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative.
Alright, continuing on with our shoulder fire munitions, we'll now get into what the weapons guys carry, the actual CCMTs, close combat missile teams. The CCMTs are going to carry one of 2 weapon systems, or sometimes they'll carry both. They'll kind of alternate. First one is going to be the MAWS. We use actually 2 different MAWS at the moment. There's the M3 MAWS or the Mark IV MAWS. The only difference between the 2 really is size and weight. Right, the original M3 MAWS, the Carl G, is pretty goddamn big, pretty heavy. It's a recoilless rifle. It is not a rocket launcher like what the AT4 is. It's a recoilless rifle, meaning it does have a rifled fucking barrel on it. Mark IV MAWS, specifically the Mark IV Mod 0 that we use, a little bit shorter and a hell of a lot lighter than the original M3. It's almost half the weight. Still the same size round, still an 84 mil, but it's a lot lighter. We also have the advantage of being able to use both HEAT, high explosive anti-tank rounds for it, as well as HE high explosive, which basically turns the Maz into a fucking direct fire 84 millimeter mortar. Pretty goddamn rowdy. But they're still used for generally the same purposes. The only time we're going to be using the M3 Maz is if it's nighttime out, because we don't have the NVG capability yet with the Mark IV. So it's the only time you're going to see them take out the old Maz is if it's nighttime. If it's fucking even somewhat daylight, they're going to be taking out the Mark IV Maz. Again, a hell of a lot lighter. They can carry different ammunition for it. Either way, both of them are effective out to roughly 1,000 meters. The Mark IV is a little bit more effective at that kind of range. The M3 can punch out there, but it's not going to be quite as accurate. But they're effective out to 1,000 meters. Can fire again HEAT, high explosive anti-tank, to tank out armor, as well as HE for the Mark IV, which is used against infantry. And again, those are carried by the CCMTs. Moving on from the Maz, the other shoulder fire weapon that the CCMTs will carry is going to be the FGM-148 Javelin missile system. Anybody here never seen a Javelin before? Everybody knows what a Javelin looks like, the green fucking tube with the black box sticking off it. Alright, so that Jav, as it's generally referred to, the reason it's called a Javelin missile system is because it's actually multiple parts. For us in game, it's all just one big part, but the reason I'm covering this is very simple. That big black styrofoam looking box thing that you see sticking off of it, that you see the dude's head fucking stuffed into, that's the CLU, Command Launch Unit. That CLU provides him with full FLIR capability, that's infrared, or heat, as well as lock-on capability. Right, so that's why a Javelin missile, basically fire and forget. They fire it out there after it locks onto a target, hits it with either direct or top-down. Generally top-down is going to be preferred when possible because the top deck and armor is inherently the weakest. But with that thermal capability of the CLU, you will sometimes see the gunner of a CCMT carrying a Javelin. He'll pull his Jav out, and since we can't separate the CLU from the tube in game, he'll pull the whole fucking thing out, and you'll see him scanning an area. He's not necessarily locking up a target. He may just be scanning for any type of thermal hit on his scope, so he can spot and identify targets. Last thing to go over, both with the Jav as well as both of the Maz systems, all three of them have very distinctive sounds when they fire. The original M3 has a very distinct ping when it fires, almost sounds like an old M1 Grand when it punches the clip out of it. The newer Maz has a really deep thump to it. It sounds like a fucking grenade launcher on steroids. Javelin, you're going to hear a little thump when it chucks the missile out of the tube, but primarily you're going to hear when that primary engine fires on the missile and launches that fucking thing up into the air. And you can hear that thing fire from a long ways out. Reason that's important, though, to know what those sound like. Basically, when you hear one of those things fire, something's fucking dying, especially a Javelin. If you hear a Jav fire, that means a piece of armor is about to die. It's a very good sound to hear, especially as basic infantry. Any questions on any of the shoulder fire munitions we have covered thus far?
Negative first one.
Negative first sergeant.
Alright.
I'm supposed to remember this shit. Fuck. I hope not.
Now moving on to some of our hand-thrown munitions. First one we're going to cover is the M67 fragmentation grenade. The M67 consists of a pre-fragmented steel body filled with 6.5 ounces of explosives, has a 4 to 5 second fuse on it. Look at the picture behind me. A grenade is going to consist of multiple parts. You have the body, pin, the fuse, and the spoon. Spoon's the lever coming off the top of it. So, when you pull the pin on a grenade, and you're holding that spoon to the body, exactly fuck all happens. All it does is release the tension on the spoon, but you're holding it with your hand. When you release the spoon, that's when the fuse starts burning. You now have 4 to 5 seconds to remove it from your fucking vicinity before it detonates and kills you. Now the M67 has a kill radius
look like
of
they both
15
fell asleep.
meters with a fragmentation dispersal radius of up to 230 meters. Which means when you throw one of these things, you make goddamn sure you are behind solid cover. Go over that more later. One thing I am going to cover here with you, however, with the ACE advanced throw system that we use, you have the capability of cooking a grenade. Is there anyone here that is unfamiliar with what it means to cook a grenade?
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Alright. Now I will tell you, cooking a grenade is one of the most retarded fucking things you can possibly do. So much so that, as far as I'm aware, they don't even fucking teach it anymore. So, what is it to cook a grenade? You release the spoon, let the fuse start burning, right? Then you throw it. Gives the enemy less time to react, correct? Also gives your dumbass less time to react, because if you miscount because your adrenaline's through the fucking roof, thing blows up in your hand. And I don't know about you, but I don't want almost half a pound of fucking explosives going off in my hand. So, pull the pin, throw the fucking thing. Just get rid of it. Aside from the fact that in ArmA the AI can't throw it back at you anyways, just get rid of the fucking thing. There's no sense in taking the chance. Again, we'll go over the procedures of actually throwing a grenade here in a little bit. Now, in terms of the frag grenade, everyone, with exception to medical personnel, carry frag grenades. There is a limit on the amount of throwables that we can carry. You know, you're not gonna be ridiculous with it. You're not gonna see a guy out there with 20 fucking frag grenades. It's not possible, not gonna happen. Moving on from the M67, we then have the M84 flashbang or stun grenade. M84 is a diversionary device used for building and room clearing. Has a 1 to 2 second fuse where upon detonation it emits a blinding flash and a deafening bang, hence flashbang. We use these quite often in urban environments. I will say the only downside within ArmA to the flashbang is that when apparently Bohemia decided they were going to make a military simulator, they decided to play a little too much fucking Call of Duty first and think that if you look away from a flashbang, you are no longer affected. So that means the AI, if the grenade does not detonate within their cone of vision, it does exactly dick all to them, which is fucking ridiculous. But it's our problem to deal with. It does not mean don't use your fucking flashbangs, because sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they do work. And when they work fucking great. Flash a room, and it detonates in the guy's vision, you can walk in there and basically cock-slap him in the forehead, and there is dick all you can do about it, because he is completely incapacitated. So use your flashbangs. We carry them for a reason. Much like with the frag grenades, all personnel, with exception to medical personnel, are allowed to carry flashbangs. Again, it is limited along with the rest of the throwables. Right? Any questions on the frag or the flash?
Negative first sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Excellent. Last throwable we're going to move on to here. Unfortunately, we don't have a slide sitting up here for. It's going to be our M18 smoke grenades. Our M18s are a canister type grenade. Pull the pin, release a spoon, starts emitting a large plume of smoke. Now we have different colors of smoke that we use for different things. Firstly, white and yellow smoke is going to be used for concealment. So if we need to conceal our movement from one position to another, we'll deploy yellow smoke or white smoke. We'll go over that more here in a little bit. Next, we have our signaling colors. First, we have green. Green smoke is used to mark a friendly position. Very fucking simple. Oftentimes, you'll hear us send an order down to pop green smoke along the lines. Generally means we have danger close CAS or close air support coming in. So we have A-10 or something coming in with a gun run inside of 300 meters. We're going to pop green smoke along our line so he has a visual representation of exactly where we are. Next, we have red smoke. Red smoke is used to mark an enemy position. Do not ever pop red smoke on a friendly position. If you do by accident, make sure you get word set up fucking immediately that you have accidentally popped red smoke on a friendly position. Disregard, whatever. Just get that information sent up that that red smoke is not marking an enemy position. Next, we have orange smoke. Orange smoke is only going to be carried by team leaders, and it is used to mark the position of demolitions. Right, all team leaders carry a couple of M112 demolition blocks, little chunks of C4. When we place those, put our clacker, wire our clacker to them. We'll then deploy an orange smoke, give a nice big visual signal to everyone in the area. Hey, there is demolitions here. Don't go around here. The whole fucking area is about to explode. Next, we have blue smoke. Blue smoke is used to mark a broken chain of command. Basically, everything is fucking bad here. If you see blue smoke, stay the fuck away from it. You won't be carrying it. Only higher ups carry blue smoke, and if you see it, stay the fuck out the way unless you are told there to set up security. Same goes for the next one, which is purple smoke. Purple smoke is used to mark the location of an MCI, mass casualty incident. Generally hear it referred to as a mass cas. The only personnel that carry purple smoke are medics. Our 68 whiskeys are the only ones that carry a purple smoke, therefore they are the only ones that will declare an MCI. The only ones qualified to do so. Us, as basic fucking infantry, we are not qualified to declare an MCI. Only medics can do that. They'll pop purple smoke. That purple smoke is a visual representation to all medical personnel within the area of, hey, I need fucking help now. At which point, all medical personnel are going to descend on that fucking position. If you see purple smoke, stay away from it, unless you are told to go there and set up security. Should you set up security around an MCI, or a position where the chain of command has been broken, security does not consist of placing your asshole up against the back of the guy that is trying to provide medical aid to someone that is wounded. That's not security, that's another casualty waiting to fucking happen. Security means punching out a fucking perimeter 50 meters outside of wherever the shit is going down, so that you are actually protecting them. You are providing them security, not increased likelihood of more casualties. Right, does everybody understand how security works around an MCI?
Yes, for sure.
Affirmative for Sergeant.
Yes, First Sergeant.
Outstanding. All right. Now, does anyone have any questions on anything we have covered thus far before we cover the last two things here?
Negative, first sword.
Negative, First Sergeant.
Negative for Sergeant.
All right. So, why don't you guys direct your fucking attention up to the screens yet again? What you are looking at here is the sight picture for an RCO, a rifle combat optic. You may also know it by the name of ACOG. RCO is pretty much standard issue optic for all of us. It's the only optic you're going to be using throughout your time in OSUT, with exception to the optic we're going to talk about right after this. The RCO is not only a tool for engaging targets. This sight is pre-ranged for your weapon system. The tip of the chevron. Chevron is the pointy pyramid looking thing. Don't know what the fuck a chevron is. Tip of the chevron is 100 meters. Mid-level of the chevron is 200. Base of the chevron is 3. And then you have the corresponding horizontal lines down the vertical axis on the even numbers, so 4, 6, 8. Representing 400 meters, 600 meters, 800 meters. Now what's important is the width of the spread on the legs of that chevron, as well as the width of the line moving down that vertical axis, represents 19 inches at that given range. Does anybody have a guess as to why the measurement of 19 inches is important to us?
Yes, first one.
Send it.
Shoulder width, first one.
There you go. 19 inches is the average width of a man's shoulders. Any military age male. Cocksucker from 15 to 50, on average, their shoulders are going to be 19 inches apart. That means, looking through this sight picture, if you line up that number 4 horizontal line on a military age male and it touches from shoulder to shoulder, they are roughly at 400 meters. Now you can not only accurately engage, you can now pass along that information as well, that that target is at roughly 400 meters. Now the next optic we're going to talk about very quickly is kind of the mirror opposite of this, and that is the M45 MGO. The MGO, or machine gun optic, like I said, it's basically the mirror opposite of the RCO. Instead of having a vertical line with horizontal, or a vertical axis with horizontal lines going across it, MGO is going to have horizontal lines going across the sight picture, not the entire sight picture, just the bulk of it, and an open gap along the vertical axis. So it's just going to be an opening in the center of your sight picture with horizontal lines coming off the sides. Works the same way though. When those horizontal lines touch on their shoulders, you now know that's what range they're at. Alright, anybody unclear as to how the RCO and the MGO work?
Negative first sergeant.
Negative for sure.
Alright. Last one real quickly that I'll tell you guys about that you may see and wonder what the fuck it is going to be the MDO, the machine gun day optic, which is one of the optics for the machine guns. Basically, it's an oversized RCO. Works the same way, has a little bit more magnification and so on because the machine guns have more range, but it looks like a big ass RCO because that's pretty much what it is. Alright. Now, before I hand you guys over to Sergeant Salvatore to take you over to the gear room, get you squared away and so on with that, anybody have any fucking questions on anything we have covered so far? Tiniest little fucking thing tickling the back of your brain matter, you better bring it up now.
Yeah, first sergeant. You mentioned white and yellow smoke. Can you just go over the use of that one more time for me?
White and yellow is going to be used for concealment. Basically, if you need to conceal your movement from one position to another, you're going to deploy white or yellow smoke.
Okay, so there's no big difference in the color, what it means, it's just for concealment?
Nope, white and yellow both mean the same thing. I will tell you, primarily, we will use yellow, but generally the fucking enemy will use white, so we like to use yellow to differentiate, but there's no standard. You can use white or yellow, doesn't matter.
Roger, thank you.
First Sergeant Private Wrath, I have a question.
And
as far as the radio check and radio callouts, does it matter? When we were doing our radio callouts, we weren't saying rank specifically. Some guys did, some guys didn't. So when I was calling out, I would say any station. This is Private Wrath. This is Wrath. Does it affect?
Does not matter. At a fire team level, where you don't have a calling station, because obviously when you have a calling station, you're not going to be using your rank. So at a fire team level, you can just say your name. Your rank doesn't matter.
So like Abby.
Alright, anybody else? Alright, what we're going to do, as I said, I'm going to hand you guys over to Sergeant Salvatore.
I don't know how to get out of the chair.
Take you over to the gear room, get you guys fucking squared away with some gear. Then you're going to head downrange, start going over some hands-on shit with the actual weapon systems.
Fuck do I get out of the
Sergeant
chair?
Salvatore, they're all yours.
Thank you, Job. Privates, follow me. Use your scroll wheel to stand up.
Why wouldn't you get in line? Sergeant Salvatore.
Alright, this is where everybody grabs his rifleman loadout with an 84. When you grab your kit, step away and condition for your weapon. That means magazine out.
My loadouts are like gray. They're like grayed out.
Can you still load them?
Yeah, I guess I can.
Did I go into the wrong thing?
Sorry, can you say again? What should we do here?
Your rifleman loadout with the 84.
Inventory, there we go.
Roger that.
Oh. Load? Are these my loadouts or theirs? Basic loadout, automatic. Those are my loadouts. I don't want my loadout. Fuck me. I'm not. Arsenal?
Make sure you condition for your rifle. No magazine in.
Am I the only fucking idiot here? Fuck!
Sergeant, I also had problems. I've been having problems with the loadout for the rifleman specifically. I'm having to build it from my base loadout each time I do it.
So what you do next time, delete your rifleman loadout with the 84, build it again and save it.
Roger.
ArmA. Basic.
Alright, everybody was ready. Wait for me outside.
There we go. I forgot that we had already made loadouts. I was so fucking confused.
Follow me. When you approach the red flag, you're gonna take the range complex.
When you approach, you're gonna take the range complex? What does that mean?
What are you all waiting for? Interact with the flag, go to the weapons range.
Interact with the flag. Weapons range complex. There we go. I'm so scared of fucking up, you know? Alright, still loading. Loading.
Outstanding. Let's go this one.
Lagging. There we go.
Right, everyone take a barrier around me so you all can hear me. Alright. This is the live portion of smoke grenades and fragmentation grenade. There are a couple things I'm gonna tell you how to do it, and then you execute. If you press your 7 on your keyboard, it should switch to your non-lethal grenade. When you press 7, you cycle through your colors of smoke. For this exercise, you wanna use yellows, so make sure you got a yellow smoke grenade equipped already. This portion is gonna cover concealment from bunkers or possible contacts. If you hold left shift in K, a wind indicator will pop up, knowing from what direction the wind is and how strong it is.
Left shift.
Coming
Negative.
northeast, southwest, category 5, that means it's pretty fucking strong.
I don't have that.
If I, for example, want to cover that bunker with smoke, and if you know how to do it, just speak up.
Yeah, you'll want to throw the grenade just beyond and to the right so that the wind will carry the smoke into the bunker.
Alright, come over and let's see how you will do it.
Don't fuck up. That's pretty good.
That's exactly how you want to be placed that smoke. For where I'm standing right now, I can maneuver around the enemy, and the enemy doesn't know where I am. Because the bunker is not in a line of sight with me. Because if you're standing over here, completely covered, you got room to maneuver around. What we're gonna do is you're gonna split up with 3 over there and 3 over here. We're gonna do the smoke grenades first. And I didn't touch on it yet, but if you equip a smoke and you're gonna smoke it out, is simply go yelling, and when you throw it, you yell smoke out, so everybody knows you're using your smoke grenade. So go ahead. 3 on the right side, 3 on the left side. And do it 1 smoke grenade on the left and 1 on the right, not all 6 at the same time.
Why don't you start at the end down there? There he is.
Private Grant, you're first, go ahead. Make sure you use your big boy voice.
Short. But I think it did the job.
Why is nobody throwing a smoke on the right side? Smoke out.
There you go. Okay.
Gonna throw a grenade. Make sure you yell first and then throw it.
Roger that, Sergeant.
Roger that, Sergeant.
No, this is great. Loving it.
Can't see. I'm listening for smoke out before I go.
Alright, we're gonna do different. We're not throwing all 6 smoke grenades. We're gonna equip a fragmentation grenade from this point. When you got the fragmentation grenade equipped, let me know.
Marcus got it.
Clemson has one.
Lewis, ready?
Wrath is up.
Outstanding. Let's wait until the last smoke has been cleared. Alright. When are you about to throw a fragmentation grenade? First important thing is yelling it out. As an example,
Frag out!
out. If you hear someone from your team or someone around you in close distance calling out frag out, you're gonna relay that information. They're gonna say frag out. So the number 1, number 2, or even number 20 fucking 1 knows there's being a frag grenade being disposed. Step 2 on this range is when somebody yells out that is about to throw a frag grenade with frag out, you're gonna hit the deck. Simply shrapnel. If you throw a bad frag and you yell bad frag and someone is not prone or not behind cover, you will get hit by shrapnel from the grenade. Or even if it's a group grenade, you still can get hit by shrapnel.
Where are we at?
So, frag out, and on that point, everybody hits the deck. We're going from left to right. Any questions before we do this?
Negative. Negative, Sergeant.
Right, Private Grant. Oh, go ahead. Just downrange. Right, Private Grant, you're first. Frag out.
Okay, you didn't get down.
Alright. Stand back up. Private Lewis, you're next.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Frag out.
Do we all have to repeat? I didn't hear that.
Alright, come back up.
Is that something we do? I didn't know that was a thing.
Frag out.
Yes, Private Walker, you're number 4. Frag out!
Frag out.
Just waiting for him to call it.
Private Walker, perfect example what not to do.
Shit.
He didn't call out, frag out, and threw it. That's something you don't want to do.
Sorry, I think I hit the wrong key.
Affirmative. Alright, Private Ref, you're next.
Roger that, Sergeant. Frag out!
Frag out.
Frag out.
We blew up their targets.
Frag out.
Did he throw anything? Oh. I didn't see him throw it.
Outstanding, sir.
How funny would that have been?
Does anyone has questions about how to throw, utilize smokes or fragmentation grenades?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Outstanding. From this point, you got the general idea of what to do, what to call out, what the procedure is. From this point, I'm gonna take you to the 84 range, give you more in-depth explanation about the 84, how to use it, how to spot target, and afterwards, all of you are gonna engage a piece of armor with the 84. This will be happening in buddy teams. We've got a perfect number, so 3 teams. 1 will be spotting of each team, the other one shoots, and afterwards we're gonna turn around. Alright, let's go. Make sure you got a Vector 21 in your loadout if you don't have one, and stand by for a second.
Vector 21?
You said the Vector 21?
Vector 21, correct.
Copy, Sergeant.
Okay, grab that. There we go.
Alright, rally up on me. Press Bravo on your keyboard, you will be equipping your Vector 21 Knights. We're all gonna look down range. I'll tell you exactly what we can use this for.
I'm staying up here where it's safe.
If you right click, you look through your vector. If you look at the southeast of a bearing of 140, see that BMP over there, correct?
Copy, Sergeant.
If I keep the center of my Vector 21 on it, and I press and hold Romeo, a red dot appears, and when I let loose, gives me the distance, 277 meters out. Does everybody see that?
Yes, for sure.
Copy.
Well, not everybody, because Private Reyes had his M4 out.
Now I got my Night Sergeant. Sorry for that.
Alright.
Fucking called out, man.
What we also have is a slope distance. Well, basically this is your slope distance. You got your azimuth afterwards. If I hold tab, I get a direction. It's the bearing of 138 from my position. However, when I call out 138, for some it may be 137, for some it might be 141. Keep in mind, in general, if I'm sitting 50 meters next to you and you see bearing 141, I have to adjust my bearing because I'm not standing beside you, next to you, or even on top of you. There's always a difference from bearing from where you're standing from. If I hold tab and R until the red dot appears, I get both. I get my distance, 277, and my bearing, 138. If, for example, I want to shoot a BMP or a BTR that's below me, or even my uphill, there's an elevation difference that affects your 84. How do you find out what the elevation is? Simply tap Romeo once and immediately press Romeo and hold it until that red dot appears again. You will see the distance is 277 on the left, and you got your elevation, or known as sea level, on the right. For us today, it's 0. Means it's on equal height as we stand. It will give us a minus or a plus depending on if it's below sea level or on a hill, mountain, whatever the terrain is. These 3 steps will give you every detail your 84 gunner needs to know: bearing, distance, and elevation. Why elevation? Because the further away, or depending on his height, he needs to adjust his shot. Does anyone has questions about the Factor 21?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, still Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Who's yes? I don't know what yes is.
This is Grant. I have a question about the tab and Romeo at the same time. It's not working with me. Can you say it again, please?
A firm. I press tab, hold it, press Romeo, hold it, release it, and I got both.
I'm getting 1P after
Then you're
releasing the
holding
Romeo.
it too long then.
Oh.
Press tab, and you gotta hold R until you see the red dot, then release both. So you see your bearing on the left, 138, the distance on the right.
Copy, Sergeant. It's working now. Thank you.
Outstanding. There are no questions anymore about the Factor 21s. We'll swap out our 84s. You can use your interaction menu or simply press 0 on your keyboard. May equip your 84 right now. So get it on your shoulder. Do not arm your 84. I did not give you the order.
That took me a second. It's 3. He didn't say that, but yeah, there you go. He says, "Here we go. Get ready." Go up there.
D1. Private Reyes.
Sergeant, how do I equip my 84?
With Ace indirect or with 0 on your keyboard?
Neither.
It's 3 work for me.
It's 3.
There we go. I'm gonna tell you the following and do not execute. If you need to arm your 84, you press Shift and Romeo.
Someone's gonna do it. Someone's gonna do it.
Again, do not execute it. It's not an order. However, press Shift and R, it will arm your 84.
Oh!
I just said do not arm your 84.
I knew someone was gonna do it. Look, he's watching. He's watching. Fucking busted.
Alright, anyways, when you arm your 84, you see if
I knew someone was gonna do it.
now you may arm your 84. So you can see how it looks like.
I saw how it looked like just a second ago. Looked pretty cool.
Private Reyes, what's the problem?
don't know, Sergeant. What is the problem?
I see you doing different interactions than holding your 84.
Oh, I was too close to the bunker, Sergeant.
Alright. So you press Shift R to arm your 84. You right click to look through the visor of the 84. However, if you press / on your keyboard, it will flip away the metal indicator. Gives you more sight through your iron sight. Do not left click. It will fire your 84 and injuring the people around you and pissing me off.
It doesn't work for me.
So if you press your / does everyone see that flip upside, go to the side and give you a bigger visual?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
My chat pops up.
On the numpad.
That's your /.
Oh, right.
Side copy on the numpad. Understood, got it.
There you go. Does everybody see it now?
Affirm.
Outstanding. Did everybody see the difference with flipping it up and without flipping up?
Yeah,
Affirm.
Yes, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
It's not night and day. Gives you a big amount of field around your armor target.
Different.
Alright, from this point, we're gonna split you up in buddy teams. So 1 and 2 on the left, 3 and 4 in the middle.
Don't scoot away from me. We're buddies.
Go ahead, scoop over to the left. Did you in the middle state? No.
No.
Private gun.
You're with me, dumbass. I'm your buddy.
Right, important things about firing your 84. If someone is standing behind you, you're gonna call out backblast clear.
Clear
That
backlash.
indicates for him. That indicates that you're about to fire your 84. Means he can get hit by your backblast. Give him a small amount of time depending on how quickly you need to eliminate a threat. If he's still standing
Sup,
behind
dude?
you and you called out your second backblast and your spotter says backblast is not clear, and there's someone running behind your 84 and you shoot it, bad luck. So 2 rolls. AT gunner simply is gonna say backblast clear. Your spotter will say it's clear or not. You proceed this twice depending on if it's clear or not. So as example, if I call it out backblast not clear as a spotter, the gunner will say it again, backblast clear. If it's clear or not, you're still taking the shot. Everybody understands?
Confirm.
Understood, sir.
Affirm, Sergeant.
Alright. When your backblast is clear, your buddy is telling you nobody's behind you. Gunner will say rocket, 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 and then shoot its rocket.
Okay, I'm writing this down just so I don't forget.
From this point, if you don't have questions, we're gonna split you up a little bit more since we're too crowded. So Private Walter and Lewis, go more to the left around the ramp. Private Grant and Raz stay here. And Private Swanson and Reyes go to the right. So you won't end up hurting each other with the backblast.
Rocket.
One will be spotting, the other one will be engaging. Right, check move. Alright, come over here. Private Swanson. Open area behind you. No boxes, so you won't hurt yourself. Shoot that rocket and you got a box behind you and next to you. Will fucking hurt you. Private Reyes. Over here.
Did you tell them to fire on heavy or not?
Yeah, I told him. Can you do the guys on the left? Alright, one spotter. You will pick a target. Give him the bearing and the distance. And the 84 gunner will engage.
Are we clear to shoot whenever? Start first class.
No.
Got a target for me?
Oh, Ruff's about to fire finally.
Damn, forgot to put in earplugs.
Distance.
This one. Okay. Got it. Back class clear. Back class clear. Rocket.
Alright, where are we going?
Second hit.
2 for 2.
Are you spotting or am I, Grant?
Private Grant, fucking pull your 84 out. Don't stand here with your dicks out. Someone needs fucking spot and shoot.
Spot it for me. Grant.
146. And 199 of distance.
Alright, where is my... What is happening? Stand by, I don't have a sight. Hang on. Where the fuck is the sight?
Private Grant and Ref, what's the issue?
I'm not pardon me, I'm having trouble. I pulled up, I right clicked to go in through the view, but I don't have a sight on my AT4 anymore.
Because it's not sharp. You didn't arm it.
Roger that.
You have R and you arm it. There you go.
Back blast clear.
Private Swinson, you're bleeding. Fix yourself.
Clear.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
Private Reyes, did you fire that AT4?
Right,
the last
if you
step?
find your 84, drop it on the ground.
Roger that, Sergeant.
There we go.
Alright, gentlemen, follow me.
I think they actually all did.
Failed it.
Did Private Grant not fire?
Private Grant did not fire.
Did you fire Private Grant?
Private Grant did not fire, I was going
Did not
first.
fire yet.
Alright, make it quick.
Roger that, we'll roll. Prepare for bearing. Bearing 132. Range 168.
Hey, firm. Alright, Private Grant. Go pressure. But everybody hit his target. So we'll be expecting that you hit it as well.
I knew it.
Roger. Black last clear.
Hey, sound like them here. Did you tell them what to do?
Back blast clear.
Rocket, rocket, rocket.
I did.
Looks good. All set, Sergeant.
Alright, everybody rally up.
Yeah, that was my bad for taking so long. Didn't load my fucking rocket.
Sergeant, are yours?
Thank you, Sergeant Salvatore. Alright, privates, follow me. We'll go to the weapons range and we'll go to rates of fire. Alright, we all here? We're all here, okay. So, what I'm going to be teaching you all here is basically the different rates of fire you should be using for different targets at range. Private Reyes, stop flagging me or I will kick your ass. Double tap control. There we go. Alright. So, common sense dictates you are not going to unload fully automatic fire at a target 300 meters distant. So, for that, we have the varying rates of fire. These are sustained, rapid, and cyclic. Now those are different from the modes of fire on different weapon systems. However, you can use the modes to assist you in getting the right rates of fire down. So, to go over it in basic before I actually demonstrate with a weapon. For sustained, with an M4, you're going to put 1 round down range every 3 to 5 seconds. For rapid, you're usually going to do double taps, again, 3 to 4 seconds. And in cyclic, you're going to be firing on burst. So you're going to be putting short, controlled bursts into targets. And you're still going to be spacing them out. You are not just going to hold down the trigger and just spray willy-nilly downrange. Now for our other main weapon that infantry use, the 249, you're going to put 5 to 7 round bursts instead of single shots per sustain. So 5 to 7 every 3 to 5 seconds. Now when you go to rapid, you're going to close up that gap a little bit. You're going to put 5 to 7 maybe every 3 to 4 seconds, 2 to 3. Depends on how many targets you're facing. And then for rapid, you're usually going to be putting longer bursts, but again, you're controlling them, and you're going to be spreading them out around your targets. So I'll demonstrate with the M4, and then I will grab a 249 and demonstrate very quickly with that. So as always, you want a stable firing position. If you do not know, you can, when crouching behind cover, use your Charlie key to rest your weapon on any surface. Now that does limit your angle of view, or angle of being able to fire, so be conscious of that. So for sustained, it should sound something like this. Alright, rapid's gonna get a little bit quicker, and you're usually gonna be double tapping. And then finally cyclic, this is when the enemy is getting closer to you, you're gonna start using bursts. And loading. Always call your reloads. That's crucial when you're in a firefight, especially if you're using a crucial weapon system like the 249. You call reloads, or you say 249 down.
No, this isn't Jester, but this is his unit. This is the 506
Any
unit.
way that you can
but
make
he's
sure
not here.
that your team knows that they are currently 1 weapon out of the fight right now.
Did you go with the 249?
So give me 1 second.
I don't think we're working with. I don't think we're working with 249s. He's just showing us. But yeah, no, he's not here. Brewer is here. Brewer's in a lot of his videos. Brewer is probably that guy up there. His first sergeant. Whoa, hello. But yeah, this is his unit. Let's see, you use that bitch a lot. If I get assigned as the gunner.
It's the same thing as
We'll
with
see.
the M4.
I'm cold, man.
You can rest it,
not even
or
cold,
in
man.
the case with the 249, it has a bipod. Now, they may not have a bipod depending on the version of the weapon you use. This one does. And again, you'll set it up on any surface, but again, it severely inhibits the amount you can turn to use it. Alright, so sustain with a 249 sounds approximately like this. rapid, you're going to start making them a little bit shorter together. And then with cyclic, you're going to start raking fire, and you're going to lengthen the burst out. Alright. So any question on the rates of fire or when you would use them?
Negative 7.
Negative 7.
Negative 7.
Negative 7.
Alright. So this is the short portion of the class today, where I'm going to allow you range time. So we're going to have 2 soldiers per bay for the first. Actually, yes. So
I don't remember how to put in my fucking...
Private Grant, Private Reyes take this bay. Private Rath, Private Lewis take the bay to the right, and Private Swenson, Private Walker take the bay to their right. You can use any weapon in the box. However, do not be firing grenades, and do not be firing AT-4s or any other rocket launchers on this course. Is that understood?
Understood, Sergeant.
Yes, Sergeant.
Alright, I'll give you about 5-10 mics to experiment, figure out rates of fire. If you have any questions, I'll be here.
So the range is hot?
Stay firm.
Copy.
Reloading.
Reloading.
Loading.
Reloading.
Reloading. Did I go deaf? I think I went deaf. I was trying to remember how... I don't remember how to switch it to burst. Three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I don't remember the button to switch it to burst. I thought it was F, but I think that might... Maybe? I don't know. I also need to remember how to put in my head. See, I don't remember how to put in earplugs. Oh shit. Don't put them on the ground. Reloading. I'm definitely deaf. Freaking head. You don't have your ear protection in. Your character's about to go deaf. My character's definitely going deaf, but I don't remember the button to put it in. I don't know. They changed my hotkeys on me, and so I don't know what the button is. Put them in. Yeah, I have no idea. One, two, tree. 1, 2, tree. 1, 2, tree. 1, 2, tree. 1, 2, tree. Ooh. There we go. 1, 2, tree. 1, 2. My mouse is up. Reloading. Just wanted to step by and tell you I wasn't deployed yet. LOL. It was fun going deaf with you. Thanks, Tex. You have a good one. Okay, I'm done with this. Are we still supposed to be going? Boom. 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. Boom, boom. I'll go through after this and figure out what my hotkeys were. I set these up a month ago and I don't remember. Reloading. I'm definitely deaf. I wish I knew what the button was to put my ear protection in. You know what? I think I remember it was like... Is it this one? No. Fuck, I don't remember. Is it... I don't remember what the button is. Reloading. Did I have infinite mags? Damn. What did I bring? Oh. I thought he was talking to all of us. Can I get my hearing back? Am I still deaf? I was trying to remember which button that was. Is he still quiet to you? He's real quiet to me.
Condition for your weapons. Already?
We're good. Yeah, I'm definitely still deaf. I can hear the ring.
Actually, on any of the weapon systems or any of the rated fire before we move on?
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright.
Negative, Sergeant.
Sounds good. Follow me.
Yeah, it's still ringing.
So approach the white flag, the pole with the white flag, and go to movement formations. And all 6 are here. Right, follow me.
Okay, dick. What was that? That was fucking Reyes, wasn't it?
Alright, get against the north wall so you can see all the formations. So, space out along this north. You don't need to be right next to me. Space out just along here.
Kind of tight. Alright.
Alright, can everyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Second question, can everyone see my little red box down there?
Copy.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
we're going to be going over movement formations here. you do not need, or I'm sorry, you do not use these formations for maneuver. We'll go over that tomorrow.
I thought those were actual people at first. I was like, holy shit.
So, the formation that is right next to my red box at this time is called a team file. It is not a line. So a team file is the 4 members of a fire team, literally one after the other. Now in front normally will be a team leader, however that is completely determined, like that's can be whoever the team leader chooses to be on point. In this case followed by the automatic rifleman, followed by the grenadier, and last the rifleman. Now, notice which way each member of the team is facing. The team leader is facing to the team's front. The second man is covering 45 off to the right. Third man is 45 off to the left. And then the last person in line is covering the team's 6 o'clock. Each of these formations that I'm going to go over with you, 360 degree security should be maintained at all times. In this case, again, person in the front is covering 12, person right, or person second is covering right, third left, and last to the rear. So 360 degree security all times. Now a file is used to move with speed basically, or through narrow areas where a wedge or any other formation wouldn't be appropriate. Now these can be anything from alleys to very narrow draws. Anything that needs that narrow formation, that's what you use it for. Now, moving in a file makes you very vulnerable, because right now, one machine gunner at the front of that file can fire down that file and take out the entire team. So basically it's pros and cons. The pro is that you move quickly and you have decent security to your flanks. The con is that you have very bad security to your front and back, and it's very vulnerable to the front and back. Alright. So moving on. Next we have the wedge. This is the bread and butter of movement for the entire unit basically. If you're told to move across a rugged or rural area, i.e. not in a town, then most likely that your team leader is going to have you move in a wedge.
Whoa, did they move?
Now a wedge
That box moved.
has a point man, and then the 2 next members of his team are 45 off, and then the last person is going to be on the left or right. The side that has 2 people compared to the one on the other side is the strong side.
I see.
Now, in this case, the strong side is on the right, with the weak side on the left. And that is where the automatic rifleman is. Because normally the automatic rifleman would be placed on the weak side to account for the missing gun. So right side has 2 guns, left side has a saw to make up for that lack of firepower. Now just like the file, the wedge has its pros and cons. Pros, you have good 360 degree security, and you have good security to the front and in this case rear, because at the same time, unlike the file, every single person in that team, if needed, can turn around and fire at a threat to the rear. Now, you do not have as good security to the left and right, especially on the weak side. So unlike the file, where anybody can turn left and right and engage targets, here it's not as simple. And normally you're going to be much more spaced out than this, so you may not see a target. So the rifleman, in this case, which is covering the 6 o'clock on the right side, may not see a target that the saw gunner on the left side does. So any questions on the file or the wedge?
Negative, sir.
These are the two. Sorry?
Negative, sir.
He was hot miking.
So I just want to say that these are the 2 that you're going to use most in the 506. There's also a diamond, which I'll cover when we get to the squad column. So, next, where my little red box is now, we have a squad column in file. Now, I've never personally seen a squad column in file, with one exception, which I'll explain a little bit. Because, just like a team file had its weaknesses, so does this. Only now instead of a team being weak to the front. Now you have an entire squad being weak to the front. Now I do want to use this, however, to explain how a line works, because this is a good representation if everyone turns to either left or right of how a squad line would work. So if every single person in that file turned to the east, so turned left, they would be on line. Now a squad line or a team line is very effective at engaging targets to their front. And so you'll normally hear your team leader say, get online. That means that you get even with the person to your left and right. Or if you're on the far right side, you get even with the person to your left, so on and so forth. So now every gun in that squad would be pointing at a threat to the east or west if they needed to be. So that would be a squad or team line. So moving on to the next squad column, this is how normally a squad moving in the 506 looks. Although, again, much more spread out than what you see here. So in front would be a squad wedge, or I'm sorry, in front would be a team wedge. In the middle would be the squad leader and Mike, or medic. And then behind would be the last team in a team diamond. Now, a team diamond is very simple. It is basically a wedge, only the fourth person will get behind the team leader and 45 off the other two members. So you make a diamond. And of course, you do that because you are in the rear of the squad, and therefore the diamond can more easily cover the flanks.
How much you want to bet Lewis is going to ask if the guy runs backward when they're moving this way? How much you want to bet?
Yes, Sergeant. So what is this entire formation called again?
Oh.
So both this and the previous one are squad columns.
We're good.
But they're squad columns with the teams in different formations.
Okay, thank you.
The first one, the teams were all in files. This one, they are in a wedge in front and a diamond in the rear. Now, a squad column, in case I did mention it again, it's going to be what you use to move as a squad most of the time. Again, this is not maneuver. This is all movement. So moving from point A to point B, not engaging a position or not moving on a position. Alright, so next we actually get into other variations of the squad line I talked about before. So before I was talking about a squad line with two team line formations. Here we have squad line, where my red box is right now at least, with two wedges. Now it's difficult to tell, but in the middle of these two wedges is where the squad leader and Mike are. And then the wedges themselves have their strong sides facing out. So on the right and left flanks of the squad, respectively. So the left has strong left, right has strong right. This puts the automatic rifleman in the middle. So you would use this to move if you heavily anticipated contact to your front. And actually, to amend myself, that is when you would use a squad line of any type. Pardon me. So basically, if this squad were to take contact to the front, the two team leads, directed by the squad leader, would most likely call all of their men up to online. So notice that this would put the heaviest firepower of the squad in the center, and then the other two members of each team can cover the flanks. So again, this is heavily directed towards frontal engagements. Alright, so any questions on the squad formations?
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Negative, Sergeant.
Alright, so moving on to the one behind it, from where we are, that is a staggered column. So, in a staggered column, there's one team in front, then again, the squad leader and Mike are in the center, and then there's a team in the rear, covering rear security. Now you use this moving along roads, trails, anytime it's called, basically. But those are the two that you will use it most of the time. Also moving through towns is where you'll see this formation. And it's called a staggered column if you can't tell, because each member of the squad is 45 degrees off and across the opening from the person in front of them. So it's team lead, then next person 45 off, next person 45 off, so on and so forth, all the way to the last man in the squad. Alright, and as I just mentioned, roads and trails we'll move over to your left. If my box moves, there it goes. And we'll cover how you move with vehicles. So again, you're seeing a staggered column in front. You see the front team, then you see the squad lead and medic, and then in the back is a vehicle with 2 more people. Now you'll go into this more in depth on day 3, but the reason there are only 2 in the rear is because the other 2 are in the vehicle, being the driver and gunner respectively.
Makes
Now
sense.
the intention of this is that the team in front is providing security for the vehicle and scouting for the vehicle, meaning you don't want an MRAP turning a corner and running into a main battle tank. So they're there to make sure that doesn't happen, and also to make sure that no RPG gunners pop out of doorways and shoot at it. And then the 2 in the rear, being the other 2 members of the vehicle team, are there to provide the rear security, making sure that nothing sneaks up on the truck. So all in all, this has a very good system of cover for that vehicle. And that is the objective when moving in this formation, is to protect that vehicle, because that is a force multiplier. It has a heavy weapon system usually, and it is our intention to protect that until it's needed. So any questions on that or the staggered column?
Trying to figure out where the hell we are.
Negative, Sergeant.
Understood, Sergeant.
First Sergeant, did you have anything else?
First Sergeant,
All right.
okay. Oh.
Couple of things to cover here real quick when it comes to these formations. There's a couple of quick points that we're going to go over. Firstly, whoever's best at the job does that fucking job. What I mean is, despite what we have demonstrated for you here, with team leaders being on point with a file or a wedge or so on, whoever the fuck is best for that job, they do it. So if your AR is the best fucking point man in the entire squad, then put the fucking point man up, or put the AR up front. It's not difficult. Whoever's best to do that job, let them do it. When it comes to the squad formations, if you're being told to move out in the squad column, like what you see demonstrated here with the wedge up front and so on, whatever team is furthest in your direction of travel, meaning if you're told to move east and Bravo team is further east than Alpha, then Bravo moves first. Okay, so you can just get moving quickly. You don't want to sit there on your ass and wait for Alpha to bound past Bravo just because Alpha's the first team and you want them on point. It's fucking stupid. Whoever the fuck is closest to your direction of travel starts moving first. And that same thing goes for team formations. If you're just a fire team of 4 guys and you're told to move west, then whoever the fuck is furthest most west, guess what? You're moving first. You're the new point man. Good luck. Reason for that being is, when we're told to move, means move now. Right? It doesn't mean move 30 seconds from now. It doesn't mean move a minute from now. It means move now. Have to keep in mind that you are a very small cog in a very big fucking machine, but you can bring the whole goddamn thing to a screeching halt, Ricky Tick. You slow down as a team member, you slow your team down. Your team slows your squad down. The squad slows the platoon down. The platoon slows the entire fucking task force down. One guy, Dick and the dog, can slow up a full 60-man fucking task force. If you're told to move, it means fucking move. The only exception being is if you're decisively engaged, meaning you are so heavily engaged you cannot move. If you move, you are putting yourself in harm's way. And if that's the situation, then you need to relay that information. Simply tell them, I'm decisively engaged. We cannot move. That simple. Sometimes you'll get an order from your squad leader coming down the pipes telling you to move, and they don't know how heavily you're engaged. They can't be everywhere at once, so they don't know how heavy the fire is that you're taking. They don't know whether or not you can move. They have to rely on the team leaders and the rest of that element to relay that information to them. Right? Everybody tracking on that?
Roger that, First Sergeant.
All right. Next. Pay attention to your rate of movement and your body positioning, okay? If everybody around you in the formation is standing up, jogging with their weapon down, and you're standing up, jogging with your weapon up, you're going to be moving slower than everybody else. If you're crouched, you're going to be moving slower than everybody else. Again, going to slow the whole fucking process down. I understand if you only want to play in first person. That's perfectly fucking fine. But if you cannot notice what position your body is in because you're in first person, then it's a problem. Right? The best example I can give you is if you look in the back right corner there, that staggered column that Sergeant Caldwell talked about. That formation is going to be used generally on what we call a road march. Basically, we take the entirety of the ground element, line them up on the road, just like what you see here, and we're going to start marching down the road. So, if you're the point man for that entire element, you're in front of basically 60 other personnel, all moving at whatever pace you're moving. So if we send the order down, hey, we're moving jogging weapons down, and you're up on point, and you're crouched and don't realize that you're crouched, you're going to cause a slinky effect all the way down the fucking formation. That's going to be a problem, because eventually it's going to get back to someone like me. And then I'm going to come running right up the center of that fucking formation and get up there and see you crouched when you're not supposed to be. Which tells me one or two things. Either A, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, or B, you're trying to replace my old lady. Either one is unfucking acceptable. Pay attention to your body positioning and rate of movement. Is everybody clear on that?
Roger that, first son.
Alright, follow me down the tower.
You're the first sergeant. Stop standing around. Move.
Reyes, you're bleeding.
Garden, how about you help out Cliffhanger over there before he fucking bleeds to death?
Oh my god, sorry for that.
Damn, how injured was he? Interesting position you get there, son. Doesn't look very comfortable. Look at that toe point. Damn. It's scooting forward.
Right, you good?
Double tap control.
I want you guys to look around at each other right now and tell me what is not like the others.
Two of our members are still carrying AT4s, their first one.
Yeah, that's not a concern for me right now.
Understood, first sergeant.
The helmet, first sergeant.
Nope. When I'm standing here in a training scenario, there is one glaring fucking issue for me right now. And the fact that none of you see it is a problem.
Reyes is not condition 4, first sergeant.
There you go. Why in the fuck do you have a magazine in your weapon?
Oh, I can see down there.
Don't know for something. Sorry for that.
Alright, now that I don't have to worry about my nuts getting shot off by fucking PB2 dipshit, we can continue on. So,
TV1.
want to make a couple things clear for you guys.
'Cause I'm a snitch.
Yeah, PB1. Trying to give you a fucking promotion before you damn well deserve it. So, first things first, alright? This is going to wrap it up for us today. It's going to be the last of the instructions you're going to receive for today. We're going to be back at it tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Make sure you're on time. If you don't know what it is to be on time, it means you're here 15 minutes early. Why the fuck does it mean 15 minutes early to be on time? It's because shit changes. Things happen. Murphy fucking strikes. Make sure you're here on fucking time. Lastly, generally I go over this at the start of class, but cover it now, considering I forgot it at the start. As you can damn well tell at this point, my name is not Willy Wonka. I do not sugarcoat shit. I am not your mother. I am not here to coddle fuck you and or hold your hand. I will tell you exactly like it is because I give exactly 0 fucks about your personal feelings. I am not your goddamn therapist. I'm here to do a job, and fucking holding your hand and making sure you're doing okay is not part of that job. I'm here to train you to do something that is very fucking specific. So that means, should myself or any of my cadre critique your performance, do not take it fucking personally. We don't give a shit about your feelings. We're going to point out your mistakes. We are not going to praise you. You don't learn from us telling you, yeah, you did a great job, buddy. No, I'm going to tell you exactly why you fucked up, how you fucked up, and how to do it properly. And I will tell you once. If you do not understand it, when I tell you that one time, you better fucking tell me, because if I have to tell you a second time, you are not going to have a good day. You may think we take this a little bit too seriously, but as I alluded to earlier, when you're responsible for as many people as I am, and the amount of fucking free time and work that they put into making something on this scale happen, you'll start to understand why we take it as seriously as we do. So that means this is your fucking virtual gut check moment. Normally I wait until tomorrow to get this out of the way, but to tell you the truth, I don't feel like wasting the fucking time on any asshat that doesn't want to put in the work. So that means you got a choice to make. Either you bitch the fuck out and don't show up tomorrow. Fine with me. I don't want a bitch like you in my unit anyways. Or you nut the fuck up, do the work, take the critiques, learn from them, and carry on. Is everybody clear as to the choice you have ahead of you?
Who first sergeant?
Affirmative first sergeant.
Solid first sergeant.
That's fair.
Affirmative first sergeant.
All right, and that's it for today. You guys are dismissed. Get the fuck out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon.
You too, first
Roger
sergeant.
that, first sergeant.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Thank you, first sergeant.
Sergeant, I have a question.